software-defined campus, Greg, and that's
Mm.
kind of where a lot of these questions are going towards when we're talking about pushing out the configurations, having things kind of, segmented, separated, containerized. You, it's going to take a whole huge movement, I think, mentally, culturally, training wise, everything to get us to there, but I think we've got to go there. We
Yeah.
can't stick with the way we've been doing things
Well,
always.
you've got to remember that the networking that we have today started in like the late 1980s, and then in the 1990s we had VLANs, and then in the early 2000s
and that was
we
tough
had,
sometimes to convince people to use those.
oh gosh, getting people to use VLANs was, I remember, like, and then we had switches, hubs, and then switches, and then we had switch routing, and then we had MPLS. So everything that you've got today is this hodgepodge of technology that just got whacked together. So don't expect everything to burn. The final solution is always going to be evolving over time. Cisco's chosen to do software-defined campus one way, completely incompatibly with what ACI is doing. ACI is using VXLAN and its own proprietary signaling. SD Campus at Cisco is Lisp for some reason that's random. And in the SD-WAN, it's, of course, a software controller over IPsec. So that none of those methodologies are compatible at all. But that doesn't mean that doesn't make it an unviable solution. I mean, at the end of the day, IP isn't exactly contiguous because we have UDP and TCP and all the application protocols. So don't panic about that. That's just the way it is. There's going to be an evolution over time. We're seeing SD-WAN change very dramatically, where instead of actually having routers at the site, you have a branch edge device, which then actually trunks your traffic into the cloud. It doesn't actually flow over the internet between two head offices. Most of them are cloud-based. So don't get too bent out of shape with these solutions. You just need to be smart enough to make smart decisions and get it right.
So I have a guess as to why you didn't see this question, and that's because I've never come across anybody who wants SD Campus yet. So maybe that's why nobody's asked the question.
Well, I think
a product in search of a solution.
The answer there is that the very largest universities or the very largest campuses have an operational problem. How do you microsegment? If you've got, there are universities in America, for example, have 80,000 students, right? And each of those students has 3 devices. So you're talking about campuses with over 300,000 edge devices, and they're all fundamentally attached to the same L2 segments. So they're a security nightmare. They can't be isolated easily, and and you've got to be able to build wireless and wired into a single. So there are definitely people out there, and I think SD Campus is much more a 5 to 10 years time. Yeah. It's I call it the smelly fat lady. When the big smelly fat lady sits down on the bus and everybody doesn't sit next to her, right? That's what Cisco's doing here. They don't want other companies coming into that space and attacking the software-defined campus before they get there, before they're ready. So they do the fat lady, the smelly fat lady, sit down, take up all the space, maybe drop a good fart, crack out a good fart there so that nobody comes close. And then none of the startups will start to attack the software-defined campus space. So, yeah.
Denise, I apologize for Greg and shocked
Well, Microsoft wasn't
even wearing the hat. We didn't know it was coming. Sorry.